let's talk about boomer shooters. I am Angela Wilson. We're gonna talk about some cool things that Gen Xers freaking hate. All right, here's my QR code for the slides. It's here now. I'll put it at the end if you want to like bail. It's fine. It's 11:30 on a Saturday night at MAGFest. There's plenty of other cool things to do. Thank you for coming to my panel. It's 11:30 at night. I had a 10 a.m. panel. So if you came to that one and you came to this one, you're a cool dude. All right, a little about me. I presented early in the day. As I said, I talked about Counter-Strike and rambled and showed some frag videos. I'm not a word scientist or word researcher. So if you're like, hey, when did the thing, I don't know. So I just have to deal with it. Video games are neat, boomer shooters are neater, and I'm an esports enjoyer, so that will come up later. Okay, so I had a theory that after Doom 2016 came out, that, everyone knows the word boomer shooter is, and I was horribly wrong. 2004, Google, whatever, just ignore that. And then there's some weird crap going on in like 2010, and then it just kind of fizzled out, and then that like slight hump like now, which makes sense because the term has come up in Humble Bundles and top 10 things. PC Gamer had a very great article about what should boomer shooters be called, which everyone was just like, I don't know, I guess Doom clones, but we'll get to that in a minute. I had a theory, it's like, oh yes, boomer shooter is very much in the gamer lexicon, and it turns out it is very much not at all in the lexicon of stuff. Apparently, what's in a name? Doom clones, that's what we used to call things like this. Also, another name was Halo killers, Doom killers, WoW killers, games that were going to blow up the ecosystem of games, and then they honestly just failed, and it was sad. Another thing is Doom likes, because they like to use rogue likes, soul likes, whatever, MMO likes, I don't know. We just like to put likes on things, and that was still a thing. Why don't we just say, Doom like or other stuff like that? Quake like, I mean, Doom like is very one specific thing of a, FPS game. But there's Quake 2, like we can't leave that out. So maybe Quake-like, but that leaves out the Doom-likes. But what about Half-Life? Should we just do half Doom Quake 2 likes? Like, how many things should we add on to for this name? But I know some people will say, well, boomer shooter's confusing. Gen Xers created boomer shoot, like the retro FPS games. I know, I'm spoilers, retro FPS, but they created it, not boomers. So like, why are we saying boomer shooters? I'm not born in the 1940s and 50s. I'm not a boomer. Why are we calling these things boomer shooters? That doesn't, that doesn't really say anything. Also, boomer is not just being born in the 1940s and 50s. It's also a state of mind. Please do not be a boomer state of mind in which you just don't like new things and want to harken back to the days that don't even exist. But retro FPS, I mean, that covers everything. And that's valid. You can say retro FPS, and that will cover most things. Arena FPS, that's kind of valid, right? But, Arena FPS does cover Halo. It does also cover other games that are not round-based tactical games like Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six Siege or Valorant, so on and so forth. There is no, Arena FPS is more of the multiplayer arena type games.
Unreal Engine Tournament?
Yeah, Unreal Tournament, things like that. But I stepped into some Twitter discourse. Tim Willits tweeted this a couple days ago, saying boomer shooters is a dumb name for classic FPS games IMO. The people who invented the first-person shooters were Gen Xers, not boomers, just saying. And I'm not gonna say this, Tim, you're a boomer. That's a boomer-ass statement right there, okay? The whole point of boomer shooters is that it's fun to fucking say, all right? Boomer shooters is just fun to say. You can say retro FPS, it does cover everything, but it is a fun thing to say. Also, I'm gonna like totally almost speed through this. Has anyone been to college and wrote a research paper as your first paper? Like you really focused on that, and then later you're like, oh shit, I have an English paper. So you're like, I'm just gonna kind of phone it in. Not saying I'm phoning in this panel, but it's pretty close to that. Okay, so how did we get here? This is where everyone get to call out their favorite games here. And I'm sorry I don't have your game. It was gonna turn into a huge mess of just stuff, but you know, we had Catacomb 3D, and then, you know, Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, and Marathon. Marathon's the big old, I guess, technically Doom killer for the Mac, but Bungie just kind of abandoned it. Duke Nukem 3D, and then Quake in all of its flavors. GoldenEye 007, can't, you know, leave out the console folks who had technically retro FPS type things. And then, of course, you have Half-Life, and then Unreal Tournament, RIP, because that's now Fortnite Factory forever. And even though they came out with, they're like, hey, we'll do Unreal Tournament 3, it's like, cool, good for you. And then, of course, Serious Sam is still coming out with games with that. And also, RIP Painkiller. That game came out and had cool monster bosses, but then kind of died. So, if you've played retro FPS, you can kind of see the progression as things go. We went from 2D to 2.5D to 3D, and then kind of Half-Life with the puzzle elements, trying to add more than just like, hey, we're just blowing up monsters. We're gonna have a storyline that is first person. You have a silent protagonist, things like that. And then Quake and Unreal went to more multiplayer focused type things. Serious Sam kind of stuck with its formula, and Painkiller was trying to break the mold, and then then just didn't do as much. So, characteristics. So there's single or multiple players, like, get some nice co-op in there. I would say the biggest thing is multiple gun slots, more than like 2. That's like Halo, you have your switching from like, one primary weapon to your secondary, not technically secondary, but you have 3+. You can have gun attachments, which I think that's how a lot of shooters kind of try to mix things up. And then, alternative fire, another way to have your alternative gun attachments and things like that. The biggest thing is the resource management, kind of like RTS games where you have like your gold or some type of like gas or oil or something like that. Your resource management is like your health and your armor and your ammo. Another major thing with boomer shooters is the movement. You have with like Quake, you have like nice circle jumping. It's like very smooth. You can like gain speed, do some like really cool tricks. You also have cool things like grappling hooks. With Unreal, you have like dodging with, tapping twice to dodge and things like that. So like, there's really cool movements that pretty much will be demonstrated the best on PC, unlike, consoles, just because of just how things were working at the time, but, so on and so forth. And then also there's variations of gameplay. You got the horde arena style where you're kind of trapped in a room and you have to like kill all the monsters there. Like Painkiller, if you ever played through that, it's like you go through certain levels, you kill the monsters, and they trap you, and so on and so forth. And then others are a little bit more puzzle or open-ended, like Half-Life or even Quake to an extent, where you need to kind of figure out, oh, I need to go and get this key to eventually progress in this level, and but I need to like take an alternate path to go get this key. But immersive sims, though, those are kind of that weird spot of being shooters, but also RPGs. So we're gonna watch a couple clips of a couple games that I chose as immersive sims, and you can woo or hoot and holler what's your favorite game. Also, Google Slides is very weird about full screening stuff. This is Deus Ex. there's like, granted, if you have enough carry capacity, you can have a bunch of different weapons. You still have health. You have multiple like different slots to do things. So Deus Ex is technically a boomer shooter. That guy sucks. Okay, and I of course have to do this again. Okay.
What about the defining definition of immersive game?
Ooh, so
0451.
say it again.
0451. It's the key combination.
Yeah, of course. Also, if you put in 0451 in Gloomwood, the chest will blow up and alert the guards. So don't do that. All right. Next game is Prey 2016. RIP Prey 2. You were RIP that to This Was Born instead. Scooch back a little bit. So with like Prey 2016, you can tell from it obviously took some of its ideas from Deus Ex. Has multiple slots. You can have different weapons depending on kind of how you do things, and you can. Also, like Deus Ex, you can approach situations in different ways, and you don't have to go guns a-blazing. You can kind of go sneaky, but I prefer to just blow things up. This person doesn't. There's like multiple weapons. I know there's different ways you can go through the game without killing people, stuff like that. Okay.
Did you call Prey 1 a boomer shooter?
It is a boomer shooter. Has multiple weapons, and RIP Prey 1, because that's a completely different game from Prey 2016.
So we made a video on it, so obviously it's a boomer shooter.
Yes. All right, and then. All right. This is the. Whoop, sorry. I have to exit. This is such a crappy way to do things. Anyway, BioShock 1 and technically BioShock 2.
Parasites, Rapture is on the rise.
There's multiple weapons. Maybe this person will blow themselves up. That's what I would do. So there's like alternate fire. Oh wow. Monsters in here. Wow. Why not? All right. Okay, and then finally, we got good old System Shock. Also, this is like the remake from Night Dive, which will eventually come out March this year. We'll see. Nice part of immersive sims is having cool puzzles that are kind of annoying. No, this is System Shock, and this is actually the remake version that's coming out in March this year, hopefully. Night Dive Studios has been doing a lot of remakes recently. They did Quake, they did Blade Runner, they did Power Slave. But as you can tell, like most immersive sims and other shooters, boomer shooters, multiple slots, you can, equip everything. But yeah, pretty much the, prototypical boomer shooter. Okay. Boop. Do not play when I go to the next slide. Of course you do. Okay. Now, before I go on to neat games that are not games from New Blood, I swear. I have their hat. I love Dusk, but they're not the only people who do boomer shooters. Anyone else want to ask about a boomer shooter or think that a game is potentially a boomer shooter? I thought I could get Skyrim to be a boomer shooter, but it's not, unfortunately.
So we're not going to talk about Overkill.
Well,
I know too.
I guess Ultrakill, let's see. I played through...
Desktop wallpaper.
What's up?
See, desktop wallpaper is Overkill.
Oh, yeah, my desktop, yeah, it's fine. But I like Ultrakill. I guess technically it's, but they always call it is it a character action shooter game, though?
It's Devil May Quake.
Yeah, it's Devil May Quake, though. It might be Devil May Quake, though. And Devil May Cry only has 2 weapons. You only have your pew-pews and your slash.
No, it has way more weapons than that. It has tons of weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can only use 2 at a time.
Yeah, but you only use one gun at a time in a boomer shooter. You just swap between them.
Yeah, exactly. So even though there's
similarities there.
Okay, all right. So I guess all right,
I'll give you that.
Okay, we're gonna go into some neat games, and wow, I'm gonna kind of wrap this up quicker than I thought. It's fine. We're going to neat games and like some cool trailers. If you guys know them, you can woo. If you don't know them, you can be like, cool, I'll add this to my Steam wish list, which is already 200 games. Okay, first up is Fashion Police Squad. It's a cool game. Also, these are not in any particular order. I'm not like, wow, this one's better than the other ones. I just really enjoy them. I think it's pretty cool because it's kind of a non-violent game. There's a cool grappling hook movement. Also, there's JoJo references, which is always pretty cool. Johnny? Also, I'm not associated with any of these games. Like, I'm just... Nice. Hell yeah. Immersive sim, yes! Fashion Police Squad is immersive sim. If you can flush a toilet, or wash your hands, or take a drink from the water filter thingy, it's immersive sim. Duke Nukem 3D is an immersive sim. I Am Fury is an immersive sim. Okay, of course I'm doing this again with my awesome... Alright, Doombringer. Doombringer is mainly focused on a multiplayer arena FPS. People like to say they want, hey, I want to play another Quake or Unreal game, and then they get into a Quake or Unreal game, and then they get smashed, and then they realize, I kind of don't want this game anymore. But Doombringer's here. It is like $15. It's still early access, so there's still a community about. I'll talk about a couple tournaments after or later on in the slide, but here's Doombringer. This might show up more of the single player, but get a sense for it. It's on Steam. I just grabbed like their Harris thingy. Okay. Nightmare Reaper.
Yes!
All right. So if you want a little bit of looter in your boomer shooter, this is a game for you. This game has a lot of nice short levels that are generated. The story so far is pretty fun. You can like this narrative focus has like a nice like notes type thing. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of still working through the game, but here we go. There's also these mini games in there. By the way, I fucking hate platformers, and I was not happy when I learned about this, but it's cool. All right, that is out and is not in early access. I try not to get a lot of early access games. Sorry about that. Oh yeah. Okay. Celico is a GZ Doom type stuff. It is still in early access, but there's a pretty dope demo out. Yeah.
The Allied Coalition for Expansion has worked.
There's a lot of sliding. You like sliding?
Selaco, a viable space for humans to flourish here on Mars. Welcome to your new home.
Right? Right.
Slots are now open on the Coalition Service Collective. New members are needed to help fully unlock our new planet's potential. Discover the Martian
Is this
wilderness.
immersive sim? You can push buttons.
Bye for me if you want to live.
Door number 1. So you're the one making all the fuss.
Next up,
The Allied Coalition.
All right. Next up, we got Turbo Overkill. If you want some Tony Hawk chainsaws and stuff, this is the game for you. This is episode 2, launch trailer. I think they're still technically early access. They're still releasing episodes and stuff, but I get spoilers.
Johnny Turbo in the flesh. Well, just how much of you is flesh these days? I've got a way of finding out. You call yourself a street cleaner? Let's see you clean this up.
We cannot outrun that thing on foot. I was hoping for something with more grunt, sir.
I'm going to enjoy watching you die. Let's see how good you are at my game, Turbo. What a disappointment. You ready to take this dance to the next level?
I cannot have you getting in my way. This ends now.
Alright, episode 2 of Turbo Overkill, but yeah, it's on Steam. It's a pretty dope game. That. My goodness. Alright, Attica, if you're like, hey, wow, everything seems like Doom or Quake. I really want some more Half-Life in my life. Get some Attica. Some cool puzzle elements and essentially a gravity gun arm. played a bit of the demo. It's pretty neat. I like most games. Like there's just so many less I don't like. There's not games that I'm like, it's terrible. So I'm the worst person to talk about some of this stuff. But give it a shot. It's a demo. Most of these games I show have demos, so just try them out before. And also they're usually under $20, so it's worth a look. Okay, and then I was like, okay, these are my neat games. I was gonna stop here, but then someone on Twitter was like, hey, it would be pretty great if everyone played Not This Game trailer again. That'd be pretty dope. Google Quake Champions. If you're in for Arena FPS, it's for free. It's free. Okay? It's on Game Pass. You can get all the champions there. It's on Steam because they killed Bethesda.net, because why even have another game launcher? I didn't kill it, but that's what they did. If you're like, hey, I like sliding from Quake 4, anybody Quake 4 fans? Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, 2? All right, they got sliding. All right, 2 people like Quake 4. Don't worry, there's a Quake 4 person. Does anyone like Quake 2 grappling hook stuff? Oh. Hook mod, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't be the only one to like it. There's someone in that. Whoa! All right. So anyway, whole point of Quake Champions is a great arena FPS. The next slide is going to be more frag videos. I love the shit out of frag videos. This is the QPL Quake Pro League highlights. These are 1v1 games. They're like the best of the best. In North America, we actually have a good Quake player. His name is Rafa, and he's good. And we're very bad at esports, by the way, as a North American continent. So let's watch some of this, and then we'll wrap it up.
Hey everyone, it's time for top 10 highlights of Quake World Championship 2021. Let's get started.
Yeah, that's huge, and he's extending his lead time and time again, and looking more and more comfortable with it. We said going into this, what a combo! He's off.
Little victory as we start things off, but the trap is sprung. Who's going to get the extra damage here? So much is dished out already, and the ball rush. I don't even know if that's going to stop. Monster rocket from Tromis.
This time, good LG, good positioning. He's able to grab the heavy, does eat a rail, but all things considered, not as bad as last time here. Big rocket around the corner with the conversion in the air.
Oh my god!
68% LG by Cypher, 75% rail by him as well. Now, of course, this is still the very early stages, and he hasn't had the most difficult shots, but look at this! Oh! It's huge for Effortless considering the circumstance. He put himself in good first rail, managed to hit the second, gonna try and go for the third, which he does. Will he get the fourth? He does not need to, as the pineapple comes out 3 for 3.
Be careful with his next few kick flips and moves here. Good LG as Maxter just trying to peek. He's gonna thread the needle with the tri-bolt. That was insane, Maxter!
Timing now, and this is a scary moment for Kilson because this is a very strong position here for Razy.
Oh, it was very scary, but Kilson just balls on through, no fear. I think just the absolute...
Also, each champion has a different ulti, kind of like Overwatch, or kind of like he purchased
Did really well during challengers, but the gap
each champion you can like pick a cool guy. You just be like, hey, I just want to throw fire, play the Death Knight. I want to throw acid instead. You choose that character.
Good God, what was that combo, Kilson? That's the best. That's the frag of the weekend.
Rail.
Frag of the weekend. All 3 totems up and running. He's hid them away a little bit. I think this could be a point now where Wenger does take them out. But oh my god, Razy had weapon denial.
Well, at playing into that type of style, he's great at being defensive. We've seen him do wilder stuff with less than 25 points of health. And here again, 258 damage with the LG. Nothing but net on that one, 5-0. And it's looking like...
Oh, there's a bonus.
Very confidently making his way to the rocket. And now the rail. I mean,
Oh my
in all
God.
honesty,
Oh my God!
What? Boom is able to land the frag. It is a very, very smart usage of Ghostwalk. Here we're going to see it happen again. Steals in that Mega!
There's no relent from the LG Wenger. It just follows you and hits you harder than you know what. Coming back in for more. Base has no choice.
Not looking so hot himself. Has the decent stack here, decent rockets, 95 damage. There's the bull rush, and there's the Ghost Walk forced out.
Oh, he beats him to the heavy though, just in time!
Needs to be careful. Razy getting melted, and heavy, or excuse me, Mega's not up for 8 seconds, Dan.
What? No frigging way.
Wow.
He's doing a slightly better job of pushing the pressure on, using that speed. You see the trap coming out.
No.
This is such a Razy move, and it works as well.
Well, that's all for today, folks. And don't forget.
All right, even though it was duel, I hope that didn't scare you all away from playing Quake Champions. You can play not duel, you can play, free-for-all, TDM, all the other good stuff. Okay. Woo, football. All right, so there's some communities that are kind of sitting around boomer shooters. There's the Reload magazine. They have a Discord channel, but they usually do zines. They have like different articles. They also have like an indie dev showcase that they show off like on Twitter that folks can like post to. You can like find some cool games from there. They also have game jams that are usually a month long. You can like, if you participate in a game jam before, but you kind of know the deal. But if you have a game jam, usually there's different themes for that game jam. There's also Doom World. They have a nice forum where you can learn about doing Doom map making. If you're kind of like, hey, I don't really care about any of this new shit, I just want to play some more, I want to make some Doom maps, that's the place to go to. There's a new kind of Quake map repository called Slipseer. They're pretty, like they're still in beta, but they have like some new Quake maps that folks will post there. And I think they have like a forum to also learn about like making some new Quake maps and stuff like that. There's also tstspleen.tv. They do a lot of tournaments like Organ Grinder. Essentially, folks will challenge each other on different arena FPS games, and they have really funny like wrestling style like videos where they like call each other out, and they're super awkward, but they're pretty funny. The one I remember the most is that they're like, "I'm gonna shred on you," and then they did like a fucking like guitar solo type thing, and it was like it was pretty dope. So that was the only like good one out of everybody who's just like, "I'm going to punish you," and then stared awkwardly in the camera, and then like they turn away, and you're just like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, guy." And then they also have 2v2 Quake Champions Cups, which are pretty fun to watch in terms of just seeing the difference between the 1v1 duels and the 2v2s, and just how a bunch of different folks will try to compensate for each other's weaknesses, also their lag, because there's an NA and EU cup, but most players kind of play in both cups anyway, so I guess they can blame lag still, but or QC, that's always the case. So those are some communities you can kind of like check out and find online, and that's my presentation. Here's the QR code if you just want to grab that and get some of the videos that I posted. If you have any Q&A, or I'm here for another 20 minutes. Yes.
Is MDK a boomer shooter?
MDK?
Yeah, the game, the sniper, the janitor, and the dog with 6 lights that smokes a cigar.
Oh man, okay.
And you can die for not washing your hands after flushing the toilet.
So is it an immersive sim too also, if you need to wash your hands? Sure, is it first person?
It's third person, but as first person sniping for the janitor.
That's a tricky one. I'm gonna say no, because there's third person for most of the stuff.
It is a great game. I don't really want to spoil the ending of the first one, even though it's almost like 30 years old. Does anyone want me to spoil it? Not want me to?
Go ahead and spoil it.
Okay, it's a French music video by a stoner band and it's a music video of a song about the Vietnam War. It just ends like that.
Amazing ending.
Technically, Sibby did cover MDK. He did.
Okay.
We could make the argument.
Fair enough. I guess also if there's a mod for MDK that's mostly first person, I guess it could be a boomer shooter too.
Is Minecraft the boomer shooter?
Oh boy. Minecraft is a boomer shooter. Alright, so is Minecraft a boomer shooter? Let's think through this. So you got multiple slots. You could technically make a bunch of weapons and equip them. I'm gonna say yes, Minecraft is a boomer shooter. You first, and then I'll get you.
Is Fortnite a boomer shooter?
No. It's third person, even though they're like, oh, we'll put first person in. No, I refuse. Yeah. Even though,
So you mostly focus on weapon variety when defining boomer shooter, but is not another important component that you have to move at like the speed of light?
I did mention traversal and like other movement, and I kind of think that is very important. Like, I think movement is a very important aspect of boomer shooters. Otherwise, it's kind of just, otherwise you're just a rail shooter, right? Like rail shooter with a bunch of different guns to do different puzzles or like try to figure out a certain situations. So yes, I think movement is very important to be a boomer shooter. Yep.
Time check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I came in a little late, so I may have missed a bit of the details at the beginning in terms of what qualifies as a boomer shooter. But could you make the argument that one telltale way of identifying one is just whether or not Andrew Bolsholt has worked on the soundtrack?
That's correct. Yes.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Also, as long as worked on the soundtrack, there is a 99% chance you were playing a boomer shooter.
Yes.
Then I gotta damn them to the Andrew Bolsholt.
Okay.
The boomer shooter of Andrew Bolsholt got paid.
Ooh.
Oh, come on, it's in the news, right?
I know, right? Like, who gets paid doing these things? Jeez, id. Pete, you have a question.
Time Splitters 2. Boomer shooter?
Yes. That's, we already asked, someone already asked that, buddy.
Oh, did? I missed it.
Yeah, because I totally didn't repeat the question like I should have, so that's on me. Go ahead.
Can we also make another definition of a boomer shooter if Johnny voices a character in it?
Yes, you're correct.
Yes.
Can we do the same for Stephen White?
Stephen White did.
Stephen White, he's the voice of Kayla in Blood.
Okay.
Voice of Vito and Dusk.
Okay, yes, then for sure.
First Halo.
Okay, so I actually looked this up because I was like, so I was thinking the like cutoff between like technically Half-Life and then, or 1999 was an interesting year, and then like 2000 was like a weird year. Halo has, like, it's almost there, but the two-weapon thing is my thing. Yeah, like, there's still, like, health pickup and stuff, but it's the two-weapon thing.
Because I need an answer, but I was going to with the question. Titanfall. Titanfall 2 specifically.
Titanfall 2.
It's only a two-weapon game. It's only a two-weapon game, so that really,
It's a weird sort of...
Do the Titans count as a third? Titans are basically an armor.
Yeah, Titans are kind of like an armor, right? And then the movement on Titanfall is like, it falls into that, boomer, like the movement that's mostly not in other like shooters and stuff like that. So,
as people will say, it's based on a modified version of the source engine.
Right.
So it's going to have the source engine quirks.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how generous, like how strict you are being with the definition of what counts as a boomer shooter or not, if you want to count Titanfall.
Yeah, it's like Titanfall could have been the thing that, it's like Titanfall.
To be fair, if we're counting Minecraft, I think probably should be counting.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'll count. Yeah, let's count Titanfall. To be quite honest, with this panel, boomer shooters are just kind of just naming genre specifics is just kind of a fun exercise to do, and also kind of makes people very upset. Go ahead.
What about Team Fortress 2?
Hero shooter.
It's a hero shooter, yeah.
You've got multiple weapons and you've got reversal mechanics.
True. Whoa.
Oh my god!
Oh no, we're being counted.
Come up to us and play the 360 in high school.
Oh boy. I guess TF2 could be definitely a boomer shooter. It does have multiple weapons and things like that.
Hard Reset has this weird mechanic where you have 2 types of slots. That each slot has like 5 weapons, and each weapon has an alternate fire. So like, technically it's like 10 weapons, but there's a big cooldown between switching from like electrical to whatever the other, like ballistics type or whatever. And the other thing is your character, even though it's like pretty much undeniably like an arena FPS or boomer shooter or whatever, your character moves like slow as molasses, like super slow, like unbelievably slow. You're slower than like Call of Duty. It's like unbelievable how slow you are.
Why even play this game?
Well, so it's all about like you're in these tiny arenas. At least I know they did like a Redux version. I didn't play that much, but you have these tiny arenas. There was no quick save in the game. It was checkpoints only, which is another weird thing. But it was really hard. Like quick save is going to trivialize anything, but so it was nice to play something that was legitimately hard. So.
Is that a Boomer Souls-like or something? Like
it was basically it was more like a Serious Sam type. It was
okay, yeah.
Arena, and it was all about like carefully using your weapons to crowd control. Basically, it was
gotcha.
Really good game.
Gotcha. Vanquish is
That's third
Well, it's more of a character action game because platinum made it.
All right, someone in the back, I think, had your hand up for a while.
Okay. So how would you count the Sin games?
The what? Oh, Sin. Boy, I have not played those games, so I cannot answer that question super well. I know there's a remake coming out, isn't there? No? Okay. Okay, I thought there was a remake or there was supposed to be some HD type of thing coming out. I'm trying to remember what mechanics are in that game. I'm not sure. I'm not saying, look, let me put it this, guys. With the characteristics, I'm just like, hey, these are things that are pretty common between a lot of boomer shooters and other stuff. If you don't need to follow Angela Wilson's characteristics of boomer shooters. I am not your parent or God. You can call things boomer shooters if you want to annoy other people. That's totally fine. I'm not going to be mad about that. You had a question or comment?
Well, inform a debate.
Okay.
Cyberpunk gameplay. You played it.
Say it again?
You played the recent Cyberpunk.
Yes.
I've seen gameplay of it where people are moving insanely fast and there's multiple weapons, or there's even 2 weapons. Does that count as a move?
And you can get a double jump or a super jump.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so how many, let's see, boy, I played Cyberpunk and then I kind of just went away from my head.
It's an immersive sim.
Yeah, it's definitely immersive sim.
Yeah, that is.
Definitely is immersive sim. Now, is it a boomer shooter? You can, I guess you can, as long as you have, to me, the multiple weapon slots is my big thing.
It's 3 to 4 weapons depending on what cybernetics.
Yeah, what cybernetics, yeah. So I guess if we're counting Deus Ex, which you can kind of also do the same with multiple weapons depending on the stuff that you have, sure. Yeah, Cyberpunk could be a boomer shooter, but mostly a, immersive sim.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a quick comment.
Sure.
But doesn't Titanfall have a regenerating health system and not really much ammo management, right?
That's true.
True.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure if they I was gaslighting myself or something.
No. I think my thing with just health regeneration is kind of, as I said, resources are kind of the health is part of the resources, so the regenerating health is kind of the iffy part. So you can kind of take it kind of for Titanfall a little bit, and then it's
I'd say counterpoint to that is that instead of health becoming a resource, it's time becoming a resource.
Okay.
Because if you take damage, you have to move out of you know how to take it, move out of combat, and then use your time effectively to start moving back into combat.
Gotcha.
And it comes different metrics.
Yeah, I can see that because it's kind of the same thing with playing duels with Quake. You still have to keep time. Time is also a resource, and you need to kind of time your different power ups so you can kind of figure out when you need to engage with an enemy and then kind of get your thing and then kind of go and engage with them again. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would say is I feel like you can have the resource. Different boomer shooters are going to have different emphasis upon how much the resource management is a central part of its gameplay. We can agree that Overkill is undeniably a boomer shooter.
Yeah, technically yes, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't really have much resource management beyond with your health.
Yeah.
Well, it has certain resource management, but you don't have to worry about your ammo. And in terms of health, you can always get that back just by getting close to enemies and
killing them, right.
And the dash is a regenerating dash.
Yeah, all of the resources in that game either are regenerating or your health.
Right. You go ahead.
I just wanted to shout out Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus.
You should really try it. It's a really great game.
It's a dope game. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed a lot of games that people are really
it's a prime example of Doom-inspired.
Yeah.
Boomer shooter.
For sure. Green shirt? Yeah.
I got a mean one. Frontline, Fuels of War.
God damn.
Really? Oh, somebody else remembers Frontline Fuels of War.
Oh, man. Boy, it's been a while since I've even heard that. It's flashback memories of the game.
I think it's something in the movie. Just look up Frontline Fuels of War. It's not going to be anything you're expecting.
Oh boy.
I played the demo and I'm just like, this isn't bad. And then they played the game and I'm like, no.
No. Woo. 2008. What a year of whatever. I guess so. Maybe. I don't know. I've not. You know what? I don't remember this game. I was thinking of Medal of Honor or some shit.
Is Call of Duty a boomer shooter?
No. Get out.
What about Shadowrun?
Shadowrun?
Yeah, they had a shooter, the Shadowrun in 07.
Oh, I don't even remember that game. I played the series.
It had a lot of elements from Counter-Strike, so in that sense, it's debatable.
Yeah, I guess.
You got MAGFest.
Okay.
Health wouldn't regenerate by default.
Okay.
And your health, unless you bought the ability to put down the tree, which would regenerate your health. So there are elements of, I guess there are some elements to the game that would make it a boomer shooter, but I don't know, I think, I said I'm one of the only people who pretty much play it.
Yeah, it definitely could cross into immersive sim / kind of that, retro FPS category.
Okay, it's not really a question, but so I was going through my deceased father's stuff, and he liked shooter games, and I found a spiral bound, printed out walkthrough of Daikatana recently.
Holy shit.
I was like, oh my god, damn. It was printed out from some site, I don't know, it was in full color, it was...
John Romero is going to make you this bitch.
That poor man having to have that follow him everywhere.
Is I Divine Cybermancy an immersive sim or a boomer shooter?
Cybermancy? Wait, say it again?
I Divine Cybermancy. Has anybody played that?
I'm so sorry I'm not playing that game.
I could not make it work.
What about Proteus?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. For sure. You in the back with were you waving your hand?
No, not really, but there is one called Iron Warlord. It's not well known kind of game, but it's kind of like the old Team Fortress action. Like an OG Team Fortress.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that's something everybody else knew about me.
What was the game again? Sorry.
Iron Grip Warlord.
Iron Grip Warlord. Anyone play that? Unfortunately, we cannot answer.
The old Jedi Knight games, like Jedi.
Yes, for sure. Yes, all those. Yeah, Dark Forces. Yeah, I mentioned that. I was like, oh, that's the thing I forgot to mention. Of course, Tribes, RIP, forever, essentially.
RIP is wrong.
Yeah, RIP to Tribes. Any?
Moment of silence for Trump.
This is the homie that did make it.
Resident Evil 7 or 8 considered a boomer shooter?
Oh my god.
Survival.
I don't think so. I don't think
It's too damn slow. It's an immersive sim, though.
I don't even think it's an immersive sim because it's only one solution to every puzzle.
Okay, there you go. I not play Resident Evil.
It's more about equipping an upgrade that you go through the wall.
Okay, can you wash your hands in Resident Evil?
What's the point, though?
If you can't wash your hands in Resident Evil, it is not an immersive sim thing.
You pour the first name like put it on your hands. I guess you're using hand sanitizer.
Fair enough. All right, any more comments, questions?
One last thing, Chex Quest.
Yes, yes. Chex Quest is definitely a boomer shooter. Also, Chex Quest is played on tcspleen.tv. People do challenge, and I don't understand what is going on in that game. People just randomly die, and I'm like, what happened? So, if you want to watch some Chex Quest duels, that is there.
Have you played the Steam remake that came out recently of Chex Quest? The like full 3D, not sprite-based Chex Quest.
I have not. I will check that out, though. It sounds dope.
It's very polarizing. I will say either really like it or really, really hate it because everything is wrong.
Fair enough. All right, I have like a minute left, but I don't know who else is supposed to come after this panel, but thanks for coming. I hope this was somewhat elucidating. Kind of went off the rails, I guess, but yeah, cool. Have a good MAGFest. Tip your bartenders, play Quake Champions, tell your friends to play Quake Champions, and play boomer shooters with your friends, and be safe.